June 3rd, 2025. That was the closest we ever got to a perfect Minecraft speedrun. On that day, skycrab was resetting for world record until he loaded this overworld, which kicked off a run that would change Minecraft speedrunning forever. And the reason why this run was so insane is because of this chest. It contained one item that was so rare and so powerful that every speedrunner dreams of getting it in a real run: a looting 3 sword. Now, you've probably already heard of this run and know exactly how it ends, but if you haven't, let me show you why it was almost perfect. Obviously, there's the looting 3 sword, but the rest of the seed is what took this run to another level. Before he can do anything else, Skycrab needs to enter the nether. Luckily for him, the village has 3 blacksmiths containing obsidian, an iron pickaxe, and a little bit of food, which is everything he needs. At just over a minute, he's already in the nether, where there's a closed bastion and a fortress, and after playing an incredibly fast bastion combined with a looting 3 fortress split, Skycrab is on the fastest pace ever. He manages to maintain this pace all the way into the end, where he zero cycles the dragon over 30 seconds faster than the world record. But then, mere seconds before the end portal opens and he's able to complete the greatest Minecraft speedrun of all time, an Enderman hits him from behind, and it's all over. So yeah, this is the fastest run anyone has ever gotten on a random seed by a long shot, which is why it's the closest thing we have to a perfect Minecraft speedrun. But what would that perfect run even look like? Before we can answer that question, we need to take a closer look at Skycrab's run to see where he lost time and how we could improve over it. For starters, there were a few minor mistakes and time losses throughout the run. In the overworld, Skycrab forgets to craft a bow and has to replace his crafting table, losing him a second or two. He also makes the decision to run back to the ruined portal and build off of it, using 7 obsidian instead of 10. A smart play to conserve resources, but in this case, he didn't end up needing it. His terrain nav and bastion splits were practically flawless, but when he pearls onto the fort, he barely doesn't make it, and even after a beautiful recovery, this still loses about 5 seconds. The final mistake of the run occurs while he's building his second portal and he accidentally slips and falls into the lava. He uses his boat to recover quickly, but this costs him another 5 seconds as well as his boat. So now he doesn't have a boat going into the end and is forced to pearl down, leaving him on just half a heart, and this is what allows the Enderman to sneak up on him and take him out in just 1 hit. Of course, we cannot blame Skycrab for making any of these mistakes, especially when we consider how well he played the rest of the run and how nervous he must have been on a pace this fast. And the consistency plays he made, like grabbing the eye instead of leaving it and saving a few pieces of obsidian, are just the right thing to do in most cases because they might be necessary to keep the run going. It's just that in this case, it wasn't, so it becomes time loss, and in a perfect speedrun, we cannot have any time loss. There's one more time loss that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's the biggest time loss of them all, but one that Skycrab couldn't do much about, and that's the seed itself. Mainly, the bastion is quite far from spawn, and it takes Skycrab a minute just to reach it. He could have gotten there faster if he killed an enderman with his looting sword to get pearls, or he could have just spawned right next to the bastion, which would make this run a sub 6. Obviously, asking for a better seed here is ridiculous because this is already one of the best randomly generated seeds ever. But that's just it. This seed was randomly generated, and most of those suck for speedrunning, so what if instead we only had to play seeds that were already guaranteed to be good? Then, we could find seeds like this more often, which means... it seems like I'm getting a call. Ranked! MCSR Ranked is a mod that lets you race against another player on the same seed with the same RNG. Crucially, Ranked uses a filter to ensure that every seed is at least somewhat good for speedrunning, and also all of the best speedrunners in the world, including Skycrab, play Ranked. This means that crazy paces are far more frequent in Ranked because runners have way more chances to roll an insane seed and play it well. That's why the Ranked world record is faster than the RSG world record, and it's even faster than Skycrab's 6:17 would have been. In fact, there have been multiple sub-6s in Ranked to date. Unfortunately, the current Ranked world record wasn't recorded, but the previous world record was, and it's only 2 seconds slower. Editor DZI here, As I was making this video, we actually got a new ranked world record, but we'll come back to that later in the video. You'll see why. Anyways, here's Infume's 547. It starts off just like Skycrab's run. Infume loots a ruined portal and gets a looting 3 sword, but this is where the runs begin to differ, because Infume gets everything he needs from just the RP chest, whereas Skycrab goes to a nearby village and loots several blacksmiths. This means that Infume's overworld is far more linear. All he has to do is kill a few animals for food, mine some logs, then complete the portal to enter the Nether, where he spawns right next to a housing bastion. He does a standard top-down housing route and uses his pie chart to locate the fort, but it's a 50-50 if it's more left or right. Infume chooses to go left, but the fort isn't there, so he immediately pearls in the other direction, and sure enough, he sees it. His fort split is absolutely beautiful. There are just 2 wither skeletons, a magma cube that yeets itself off the ledge, and 3 blazes, which is all it takes to get 7 rods. The blind is only 1,000 blocks away, but Infume's pearl lands in a ravine, and he also has to dig down on cords, losing him a few seconds. He makes up for it by nabbing the stronghold quickly and hitting a difficult buried 0 with an offset setup to get the ranked world record. In total, it's 30 seconds faster than Skycrab's run. Now, let's compare these runs side by side. Infume's overworld was more linear, so he was able to enter 10 seconds faster than Skycrab, and since he spawns right next to the bastion, whereas Skycrab spawns quite far, his nether terrain split is much faster than Skycrab's. The bastion is where Skycrab manages to save a ton of time since he has a double-triple stables, which is the fastest consistent bastion route. Infume, on the other hand, does a top-down housing route, which is still a really fast route, but not quite as fast as the double-triple. Skycrab saves even more time by getting to the fort faster, while Infume took a little bit longer to find his fort, but Infume saves all of that time back by having a cleaner fort split. From here on, the rest of the splits are pretty similar. Both runs have good blinds, pretty fast navs, and pull off a successful 0 cycle. We can see a pattern starting to emerge, so I think now would be a good time to lay down some ground rules for our perfect speedrun. Obviously, it has to be possible for a top runner to actually get this luck, and for every strategy to be something that they would use in a real run. I'm also going to assume that our runner has incredible mechanics and nerves of steel, so they won't falter on a crazy pace, and they'll execute everything flawlessly. We are going to high roll, but we're not going to do anything delusional like send a 6-eye or something, because no one would ever do that. Okay, almost no one, but Uriki Pizza doesn't count. And we have a looting 3 sword anyway, we can just kill 1 more blaze. Because if this was a real run, you'd want to have a real chance at finishing it. With that in mind, here's what our perfect speedrun will need. A looting 3 RP overworld into a nether with a close bastion and fortress, a good blind with terrain to cords, instanav, stronghold, and zeroable end. All of that is already a lot to ask for, but we also need 2 things that are so incredibly rare they almost never happen. One of these is the looting 3 sword, but the other is something I haven't even mentioned yet. Looting 3 can make your fort split way faster, but this is something even rarer, and if it occurs, allows you to bypass a split entirely. I'm talking about the stronghold blind. It's only ever happened a handful of times, but a stronghold blind can turn a decent pace into a god run. Kind of like this. Jay is playing a ranked temple seed, and it's actually a really fast run. He manages to blind at 436, which is on pace for a temple sub 7, but the seed has other plans for him, because before he even throws an eye, he sees the stronghold. And just like that, he's on ranked world record pace. Unfortunately, the 0 is a bit scuffed because he didn't have any arrows, but he still manages to get the first and only temple sub 6 in ranked because of a stronghold blind. And this wasn't even the craziest example. In RSG, No Fear blinds at 428 and hits the starter staircase of the stronghold. This is the fastest anyone has ever entered the stronghold on a random seed and is on pace to not only beat the world record, but get a sub 6. He just needs 2 eyes to be pre-filled in the end portal frame since he only has 5 rods, but when he enters the portal room, every single frame is empty and the run dies. In both of these cases, a stronghold blind turned a great pace into something truly historic. Now imagine if you hit a stronghold blind on a run that already had looting. Has that ever even happened before? Well, no, at least not in RSG and not in ranked either. Well guys, I guess it's time to talk about the new ranked world record, because that statement is no longer true. You see, I originally wanted to talk about another run by Skycrab where he got a looting sword and blinded into a cave just 80 blocks away from the stronghold. But now, we're gonna talk about Beef Salad's 542 instead. His overworld was nearly perfect. He gets a looting 3 sword, 8 golden carrots, and enough iron to make an iron pickaxe and flint and steel, entering the nether at just 54 seconds. He quickly finds a housing bastion and goes for a top-down housing route, making this run look quite similar to Infume's run, but the terrain around the bastion kinda sucks, so Beef Salad has to go all the way up the stairs just to leave. Combine this with the fact that the fort is quite far and it seems like any chance of getting the world record has slipped away. But then, yeah, he hits a 100 block ocean exposed stronghold blind and spots the portal room, allowing him to beat the previous world record by 3 seconds, even after a somewhat scuffed 0. The issue with this run is pretty obvious. The nether really wasn't that great. If it was, this could have easily been a sub 5, which is starting to push the limits of what is possible in a Minecraft speedrun. But there's a reason why we haven't had a run like this until now. The odds of getting a looting 3 sword in ranked are about 1 in 750, and the odds of blinding on an ocean exposed stronghold are even less than that, which is what makes this run truly one of a kind. Of course, something like this has probably happened to some random iron player, but iron players are prone to a little something called being slow, and also dying. What we need is a way to improve our odds, and the best way to do that is by supercharging our seeds to guarantee a looting sword and an ocean exposed stronghold blind. And that is where FSG comes in. Filtered Seed Glitchless is a category that guarantees you'll be playing one of the best possible Minecraft seeds, so it's no surprise that its leaderboard contains times that are unfathomable for any other category, and the world record is just 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Akastu spawns in a taiga and runs to a nearby RP, which has a looting 3 sword, a gold axe, golden carrots, obsidian, and a light. He grabs just 7 logs before entering the nether, where he spawns on a double triple stables bastion. Since he's just playing for speed, he opts to do a single triple route, which is faster but less consistent than double triple. Luckily, he gets all of his trades and is already at the fort at a brisk 1 minute and 22 seconds, where he kills 2 blazes before purling to optimal blind hordes. This is where the run slows down because he gets caved and has to dig up for 20 seconds. But right after he digs out into the ocean, he sees the portal room and enters the end in under 3 minutes. Now, he needs to craft his explosives and hit the 1 cycle, except he doesn't have explosives, so how does he intend to beat the game? Let me introduce you to One Shot, where you use the dragon's knockback to accelerate an arrow to ludicrous speeds, which kills the dragon in just 1 shot. You might be surprised, but this strategy is actually pretty consistent and is used by top runners in ranked and RSG as a fallback for when they don't have enough explosives. This is about as close as we can get to a perfect speedrun, at least until the blind. I mean, sure, there are a few small time losses, but the only two significant ones are getting caved and the dragon not insta-perching. So the biggest improvement we can have is by hitting the best possible blind, which is blinding directly into the stronghold's portal room. Imagine if that happened on an already great FSG pace.
This is a crazy pace. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh no!
The perfect run that I had been building up to this entire time actually almost happened. We were just one blaze rod away from a category-shattering FSG world record. Of course, he still would have needed to get an insta-perch and hit the one-shot, but if he did, it would be almost a minute faster than the current world record. And now, finally, it is time for me to present to you the perfect Minecraft speedrun. Or at least as close as I could get to it. To do this, I created a tool-assisted segmented speedrun to see how fast I could beat Minecraft if I had perfect luck and near-perfect execution. So, here it is. I spawn right next to an RP, immediately grabbing the axe, breaking the chest, and filling the portal. Then, I grab 10 logs with my efficiency 5 golden axe, simulating what a top runner might do if they rolled the seed in RSG. I quickly craft a crafting table and some sticks before entering the nether at just 18 seconds, where I spawn right next to a single triple stables and use my wide macro to spot the fort. I break the chests which contain enough iron to make a pickaxe and obsidian for one portal. Then, I go for a single triple route, crafting my pickaxe before using my efficiency 5 gold pickaxe I got from the RP to dig out the hole and start trading with the piglins. It seems like I'm quite lucky because after just one trade cycle I get a ton of pearls and enough string to make a bow. Then I organize my inventory while waiting for fire res and leave immediately after I get it. Now I have to throw a few pearls to get to the fort. And you might be confused as to why I go so far. Can't I just kill blazes on blind right here, for example? Yeah, but if I did that, I would have no chance at hitting a portal room blind because of how strongholds generate. Strongholds can only generate within these rings, and the first ring starts 160 blocks out in the nether, so I have to go at least that far out to theoretically be able to hit a portal room blind. Now, let's get back to the run. I killed 2 blazes before crafting my eyes and building my blind portal. And I just happened to blind into the portal room. In the end, I pearl towards the center. Then I craft a bow and a boat, just in case I get launched by the dragon, and I set up my inventory for one shot. Luckily, the bastion chests I broke earlier contained crying obsidian and arrows, and after getting an insta-perch, it is time to finish the perfect Minecraft speedrun. Two minutes and 35 seconds. That's pretty fast, and I don't think anyone will ever get even remotely close to this time in a real run because the luck required is astronomical. It's like winning the lottery 10 times in a row. But I feel like this was a fun little experiment to see what the limits of Minecraft speedrunning truly are, and oh boy, do we still have a long way to go. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, and if you did, maybe please consider subscribing. I want to hit 100k by the end of the year, and yeah. Okay, bye.